welcome all. So we are going to start with practice 5 with actually the first one, practice 5S1. As we see in the overview page, we are going to work on the graphical view, the narrative view, and then run the process report. Let's start with 5.1 again. The assumption is that you have done all the exercise up to this point. If you look specifically, it says you have at least done everything as done through practice 4-2. A reminder, remember when you are doing this exercise on your own, there are high level instructions than details instructions. And I'm going to talk about high level instructions, but then we'll actually do the detail instructions. Obviously, we wouldn't do both because just one is a detail at the high level. All right, so the high level is we are going to go in the graphical view and documentations to who will perform the review loan application task. Here are the details instructions. We are going to open up the loan process and we'll make sure it's ready for editing. So let's go over here and we'll go to the loan process. And notice I am in viewing mode to make it viewable for editing. I have to click on edit. Just a good reminder how that's done. Good. Moving on. So if I want to move on, I have to go to the step B, clicking the pencil icon next to the review loan application and select documentations. So review help applications, there is a pencil and there is the documentation link. So I click on that and notice it pops this up underneath and there are four tabs: documentation, business properties, implementations, and validations. It automatically takes you to the documentations, and also notice the documentation type by default is end user. If I type in here, that's meant for the end user. If I change to internal type and there, it's designed to be internal documentations. Meanwhile, let's go back over here. It says in documentation type, ensure the end user is selected, and then of course it gives us instructions about what we want to put. In this case, we are going to say, please ensure the loan application is completely filled out, which is nice instructions to provide. So I'll copy that. I'll make sure it is indeed end user and I'll put that in here. Notice we could do some other cool things. Let's see, because I copied that from the PDF. It created another line, but we could do some other things. But the end user, like changing the font size, we could bold it. We could decide to make that a specific color. That would be kind of neat to have. Other than the default color, that's the background. I'm sorry, I choose the wrong one here. Yeah, that's the background color. Uh, that's the background color. I was wanting to choose this color for the font there. There we go. And you get the idea, like any other editor. All right, moving on. It says apply change. Now this is a tricky. Now watch carefully. A lot of times people will work in here and then they'll click on save, thinking they are saving. Well, what are you saving? You can only saving what have been applied. In case like this, and every once in a while you got what is this apply change button says, okay, everything I put in this box, apply that. Well, why? Because if I don't, what if you say it's now over to the internal documentation and I type some internal documentation informations? Do you say what I'm saying? So applying keeps what I have. So when I switch to a different view, what I have is still there. Now saving is something different. That persists the changes that I made. All right, little trick there that happens. So a lot of people forget about applying their changes before they leave a box. In step two, it says high level. We are going to configure the REST setting, and at least one is so for the loan application tasks, and they provide us some examples. Well, the details instructions, and notice on the left menu we can select business properties. So notice here, over here, I am in that same activity. I click on business property, and you'll notice then there is a link and general requirements and so forth. So switch back over here and notice it looks different than what's in here. Why? Because in this particular, I am in the area under the back to the loan process properties. We need to click the review loan application task to display the property for the loan application, right? So if I go back to the loan process and then click back on the task, let me close this down. Click on the task and then click on documentations. It pops up, it backed up. Now I have got business properties there with these values. I can click over here. Notice there are short icons for that. And then what I can do down here is click on the process, click on another activity, or I can, if I scroll down here, I can choose gateway over here. I can also choose a non-interactive activity or like the business rules and so forth. Each of them has their own options. I can also now breadcrumb my way back to the loan process itself, and I can look at its various asset, for example, its properties as well. Sounds good. So back to our instructions here. In this case, we want to go to the review loan application step. Once again, I'll click on that, and under business properties for the review loan application step, I can click on a RAC link that it asked me to do, and remember our AC report that we created, I can now define specifically information associated with this. In this case, they're asking us to select a loan processor from the responsibilities menu. We'll do that. Loan processor is in this one, and what else? And select other roles for one of the other fields. So it's just allow us to choose. So we'll make him responsible, and we'll also then make maybe the process owner accountable, and maybe we want to inform the process reviewer. How about that? I'll just make it up. So each task we can update its rest charge that way. Okay. And of course, finally, it says here in the left navigation menu, click issues to display the issue view. So this is something a little different. If I click on issues, now it allows me to provide different form of documentation. Notice what it says next. It says enter an issue, select severity, priority, and status, and click OK. And notice, simply do that by clicking on the little icon right here. So we say, okay, this is going to be a my new issue, and I can decide how important that is. Let's make it high importance, and the priority can be low priority, say severity, and I don't know what status. I can say that it has not had been addressed, or maybe it's been partially addressed, and then okay. And then for this new issue, then maybe people can comment on here, and they can work with it accordingly. And of course, there are also timestamps, so I can sort this by priority, severity, status, or whatever along the way. So this shows you how another form of internal documentations allows you to go ahead and put this on here with something called issues. So finally, it says save your changes and keep the project open for further editing, which we'll do. So we'll go back over here, and I'm editing. I don't want to publish it yet, but I'm clicking on saving that change. It just takes a couple of seconds and save it. And this text to the end. Practice. That's one. Thank you.